Hi there, thanks for joining me today. I'm bringing you today another very quick and easy Christmas card using the Carols of Christmas Stampin' Up! Stamp set. I'm glad you could join me today. So I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. I have done a wee bit of preparation on the card by cutting out all the bits. I'm sure you don't need to watch me cutting up bits of card. So without any further ado, I'm going to pan out and let you see this card in its entirety, the one that I've already done as my sample. Okay, so for this card I'm using the Carols of Christmas stamp set, which is in the seasonal catalogue. As you can see, it's got some rather amazing big sentiment stamps, and I'm using this one for this card, Peace on Earth, which I think that's a sentiment that anyone would appreciate, whether they're religious or not, or no matter what their faith is. I think all of us wish for peace on earth. So, Christmas is basically a Christian celebration. However, I think everyone, no matter what their beliefs, would celebrate peace on earth. So if you want to share some cards, this is the ideal for your non-Christian friends. Anyway, I'll not go on about that, but this is what we're using. As you see, this set has some rather pretty other elements in it, like a poinsettia, some baubles on strings, some leaves that you can use to build up a poinsettia, or there are some holly leaves as well, and this absolutely cute little die. There is a oh gosh, my words are not with me today. There is a thinlit set that pairs up with this stamp set, which I'll show you in another film. Okay, so for the card that I'm using today, as I say, I'm using that stamp set, and I'm using the Merry Music Designer Series paper. This is a fabulous paper, a little bit thinner than some of our other designer series paper, but it is double-sided. It's 12 by 12. You get 6 sheets that are white and 6 sheets that are black on both sides, but they have quite a lot of different patterns on them, as you can see. I'm not going to bring the whole set out. I don't have many sheets left. I love it so much. I've been using it up, and I'm going to have to order another pack because I like it so much. So I'm doing this card kind of the opposite way round. I'm sticking with black and white, which is something I really like, and I think it's really stylish. So I'm going to do this one the other way round. So put that one to the side. So to do this card, I have already cut out a 14.9 by 14.9 card blank. Okay, that can be cut from an A4 sheet. I've got a black layer, which is 14.4 by 14.4, and then a white layer, which is 14 by 14, and then my designer series paper I have cut at 13.6 centimetres by 13.6 centimetres. So that's how that's going to build up, and I'm going to use this absolutely gorgeous ribbon. This is fabulous. It's wired ribbon, so you can shape it into bows and twist it, etc. But for this card, I'm just using a piece across the middle underneath my sentiment stamping. So I'm just going to cut a piece of ribbon that's just a bit wider than the card, so that I'll be able to stick it down at the back. And I'm just going to pop this into my ribbon holder out of the way because I've got too many things out. So I'll sort up that in a wee while. I've cut my ribbon ready to go. What I want to do is my stamping and heat embossing. So I'm going to stamp onto the black using my Versamark, which is sticky. Before I do any stamping, I am actually going to use my Stampin' Buddy. This is available in the main catalogue, and what this does is it reduces any static so that your embossing powder only sticks to the bits on the card that you want it to, and it does get rid of any greasy finger marks, which again would attract the embossing powders. I'll put that back out of the way now, and I'm going to stamp, use it, and I've put this on to, if I can see in this light, my D block. So as you can see, it fits nicely on the D block. So this piece of card is cut 6.5 by 6 centimetres to nicely fit. So I'm inking up with the Versamark onto the stamp, and you can see it goes a bit shiny to indicate that there's plenty of ink on that. I don't know if you can see that yet. Okay, so just going to make sure, almost in the middle. I don't even know which way. Yeah, I've got it the right way up. So almost in the middle. It's not too crucial about it being in the middle, because the stamp has got a kind of wavy shape to it anyway, so if I've not quite managed it, it's not going to be obvious. So that's that, and take my card off quickly. It's a bit squint, but I think it's perfectly acceptable. Okay, so I need just a scrap piece of paper, if you just bear with me. Yeah. Just pop this onto a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to sprinkle some white embossing powder, which you'll find in the main catalogue. So sprinkle some white embossing powder over that, and then tip that off onto the paper, and then because I've got that nice fold in the paper, I'll easily be able to tip that back in to the jar and not waste. And just give it a wee flick, get rid of any excess embossing powder, and at the moment that looks like that. I'm going to lay that to the side, pop the embossing powder back in the pot, because if I don't, I'll spill it somewhere and it just makes a mucky mess everywhere, and plus it's waste. And being Scottish, we're kind of known for being frugal, so I don't like waste. Okay, so I'm just checking that there's no powder. There's just a little bit in the corner there where I don't want it. Quite hard for me to see in this light because I've had to close the blinds because the sun was shining in and making everything white out here. Okay, so there you go. Put the lid on the ink now. I'm going to get my heat tool. If you want to turn your volume down while I do this, might be more comfortable for your ears. And what I'm doing is putting my heat tool on and letting it get warm. Wait till there's a red glow in it. Be careful how you look at it, because you don't want to blow hot air into your eyes. Right, mine is glowing red now, so I'm actually going to get my tweezers to hold this, because I've cut my card to shape. You might want to just stamp onto a larger piece of card, but I don't want to burn my fingers, so I'm hoping that you'll see this change. You see it starting on piece, it's starting to, the colours change into a lovely white. Just keep a tight hold of my tweezers here and not drop it. There we go, I think that's all embossed quite well, except that I managed to get my tweezers. Oh, I'm just going to continue with the card anyway, but normally I would just bin that. Unfortunately, I squeezed the letter C with my tweezers and it acted, but it's not that bad. So I'm going to put the heat tool aside, put it on the floor so no one gets burned, and then I'm going to quickly layer up this card. So I'm going to just use my fast fuse here, just a couple of bits, and layer this onto the white. And that'll show up nicely against the black paper. Still got bits of embossing powder everywhere here. Okay, and then to layer up the card, I might just use some snail actually for the paper, because it doesn't need anything as heavy as the... Just actually put some snail on that, and then just carefully layer it onto... Oh, it's not so easy doing this. But to do the video, I'm sort of standing at the moment, and normally I sit to craft. So you can take your time and make sure you've got an even border all the way around. Now, to put the ribbon on here, I'm going to my ribbon probably sort of about the middle-ish of the card. So I'm going to put just a little bit of fast fuse at the back of the card, but then I'm going to look from the front. This piece of paper, DSP Designer Series paper, is actually quite good for this because there are lines on it to guide me, and I'll know if my ribbon's straight. And again, this ribbon actually has these lines on it which help you to know when it's straight as well. So that's it fixed down. So I'm just going to use some fast fuse to then fix this onto the next layer. And of course my fast fuse is finished. Doesn't that always happen during a film? I had another one. But not to worry, I took advantage of the sale earlier in the month on the fast fuse, so I've got loads of refills. You have to keep an eye out with them Stampin' Up, because they're always putting on some fab offers. And the offer we had in earlier this month was to buy a fast fuse and get 2 refills free. So I stocked up while I had the opportunity, right? Okay, so ribbons on quite firmly with our fast fuse. I've put fast fuse on the backing, and then I'm going to back this onto this next layer, and this will keep the ribbon firmly in place. Okay, so that's that layered up and ready to layer onto the card base. Again, because this is becoming quite heavy, I'm going to use fast fuse to fix it on. Remember to flick at the end with fast fuse. There we go. And it becomes, some people struggle with fast fuse at first, but you know what they say, practice makes perfect. There we go. So there's the card ready, and then I need my dimensionals. Where are they? Here they are. I'm going to use the larger, the original dimensionals here. So just on the back of my sentiment, 1, 2, there's 1 in each corner. Because it's got to go astride the ribbon, I don't want to put any in the middle, because the ribbon, with it having wire in it, does have a bit of depth to it anyway. So just get the backing off these dimensionals. They come off super easy, except when you're filming a video, to demonstrate that to people. As you see, but hey, that's that. Okay, so just looking to try and line this up straight-ish over the ribbon, and again, because my Designer Series paper has some straight lines in it, does help a little bit. What do you think? Is that quick and easy? So here's Here's the one I did earlier, and there's the one we've just done on the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, if you like this card, if you like that designer series paper, if you like my style, and if you don't. I mean, I'm always open to constructive criticism. If you want to know the measurements, if you click on my website link, which will be in the box below, I'll put that all on my blog on this card, and you'll be able to, if you want to shop from my Stampin' Up shop, just click on the links. If you need to know any information at all, please let me know. Please, if you've enjoyed this at all, let me know that by liking the video and by subscribing if you haven't already subscribed to me. This card is part of a series of cards that I'm presenting just now. I'm hoping to put on at least 14 videos back to back, starting on the 30th of October. So I think this one will be one of either the second or the third one in that series. So there's still plenty more to come. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll speak to you soon.